long before I made YouTube videos, and even before I started buying guns, I was in the business of education. I jokingly say I was been in the business of education from kindergarten. I just kind of never left. But I was a school teacher for decades. I taught in the hardest neighborhoods in downtown Kansas City, the poorest and the roughest neighborhoods there are there. I've taught in the rich, wealthy suburbs of Kansas City. I've taught in East Harlem. I've taught in a school that was surrounded by corn on 3 sides. I've been all around this country in the business of education as a teacher mostly, and I finished my career as a principal. And something I saw take place throughout that was we stopped teaching critical thinking skills and focused more on memorizing facts. So I'm just going to tell you some things. You just have to take it as truth. You memorize it and you recite it on this paper. And what I've seen in the world around us is that there's not a lot of truth out there. Most people in the media are lying to you on both sides. You can't have two truths. You have one side saying, well, this guy is awesome and this other guy is of the devil. And then they're saying the exact opposite. And they can't have two truths. They're saying they're lying. They're saying they're lying. They're all lying. Anybody that has to defend their position, according to the Bible, that you should never have to defend your position. You just should. Your word is what it is. They could take it or they could leave it. But what I notice is there's not a lot of truth because of the lack of critical thinking skills combined with that there's not a lot of truth out there. What you have is people are just spouting lies and people are just believing it. That I could really get on here, I can say whatever I want. And as long as you want to hear it, you're probably going to believe it. If you don't want to hear it, you're probably not going to believe it. And this channel revolves, and when I say you, what I mean is the general public, not you specifically, but the media knows that they could spout out this lie. And as long as you want to hear it, the general public wants to hear it, it's okay. And it just doesn't even matter anymore. The truth doesn't seem to matter at all. Well, I'm here to tell you that the truth does matter. And that's why this channel is so incredibly important because, we've made well over 2,500 videos and we've deleted about 700 or 800 of those because of problems with YouTube. But outside of that, all we talk about is what we believe to be the truth. If you were to look at any of my biblical videos, I constantly am stepping on the toes of people that would be interested in biblical videos because they don't want to hear the truth. But the truth hurts. A lot of times I don't like the truth. There's a lot of times I don't like it. It doesn't matter. It still is the truth. And just because I don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't need to be spoken. God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. It just doesn't matter whether we like it or not. And when we look at the world around us and we look at how people are maneuvering in powerful situations that sometimes lead to war or chaos or all sorts of disruptions in society, we have to kind of wake up. Well, if they're saying what we want to hear and it's a lie, it's still a lie. And if they're saying things we don't want to hear, but it's the truth, it's still the truth. So I'm here to say, I don't think there's a lot of channels out there like this one. We're going to say the truth whether you like it or not. And it's not because that's a philosophy of this channel, it's because that's who I am. If you ask anybody that knows me close, I will call it how I think it is. And that's a blessing and a curse. My whole life, I call it how it is. I did that when I was a kid, and I call it how it is, and they'd get in trouble for it. But hey, it's still the truth. Sometimes I call it how it is, and people pat me on the back for it. But I'd say about 30 to 50% of the time I call it how it is, and people are angry about it. But I don't care. It's still the truth. There's a lot of biblical truths that just simply conflict with your philosophy, and they conflict with what you believe is right and wrong, and they conflict with your level of what you want to do with your life and what you want to do in this world. And you should be free to do this thing and you should be free to do this thing. But the Bible conflicts with most of that. And people just simply don't like to hear that. And politically, same thing. But this channel, we're going to call it like it is, and you're probably not going to like much of what we say. But the other piece is I call it how it is, how I see it. Sometimes I'm wrong. There's a ton of videos out there of me saying, hey, I said this thing, I was wrong. Because as a teacher, I did that same thing. Oftentimes I would teach a class and I'd get home and I'd think, oh wait, that thing I said, it was actually this other thing. But then the next day I would correct myself. I'd say, okay, here, break out your notes. And that part where I said this part, I was actually wrong. It's this other thing. And that's okay. It's okay to be wrong. So, that's what this video is about. If you want to support this channel, I believe it's an incredibly important channel, and I believe most of you out there do as well. The truth matters. Consider being a patron to this channel because the truth matters, and it has to be promoted. It has to be put out there because the lies are flying like nuts. Nobody says the truth on political television. Nobody. They're all liars. All of them. All of them. So I believe the truth matters. And I know many of you believe the truth matters. And I believe that's why this channel is so incredibly important. So if you feel called to support this channel, that Patreon link is below.